All right. Hopefully, we're talking to some flat Earth atheists. Remember, flat Earth atheists. If you're not those, you're probably not gonna like this video. But I came up with this new sign. You can wave it. You can put it on your breast. This is. You can go like this. Hmm, think about it. Anyway, I wanted to create this channel for flat Earth atheists. I know there's plenty of sites out there, growing sites out there for Christians that are flat earthers. So there's more than enough Christians that are flat earthers. I googled atheist flat earthers, and I didn't really see anything. So if someone else know anything that I don't know, please let me know. Um, but the one thing I wanted to do is just to see if we can create some dialogue, uh, with the creed that it's okay if someone differs from you. It is okay. But anyway, I would like to, start that dialogue if we can. I don't really believe. I mean, the word atheist is kind of, everyone believes in a creator. Whether you're an atheist or whether you believe in God, we all believe in alien intervention. So, to say that aliens don't believe in a higher power is not really. I mean, it needs to be redefined because they both atheists or Christians believe in alien intervention at the heart of it. At the heart, you can go everywhere that you want, but at the heart of it is alien intervention. And atheists and Christians not only do at the heart of their religion they agree at, they mirror each other as far as characters. They both are nice people. They both, at the heart of it, great in their community, um, volunteer, do great things. But when the word God comes up, they both, act kind of crazy when they don't have to. We should just respect each other. Um, One of the things that kind of got me wanting to do this um, video, just because I have to each his own. If one want to believe in, at one part I believe in God too, so I really respect the Bible. 100%, I think it's the best book ever. I still think it. I don't think no other book will ever top the Bible. But one thing that got me really, really pissed off is I seen a couple of videos or saw a couple of people saying, well, flat earth proves that, there's a God. I beg your pardon. Flat earth does not prove that is a God. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been lied to about the globe since when? Preschool? What were we? I mean, we was introduced to the globe in preschool. What was we introduced before preschool to? God. So the two parallel to me. We was introduced to God before preschool, and then we was introduced to the globe in preschool. So that's a marriage made together for me. And I say to you, my Christian brother who's so high on the flat earth now, where were your Christian leaders when it was flat turning into a globe? Where are your Christian leaders now? I mean, where are your mainstream Christian leaders? I mean, just the Earth being flat proves one thing. Every single thing that they told us, including about God, is a lie. That's the only thing flat Earth proves. And to say there's no flat Earth atheist, that's at least one. So to say there's no flat Earth atheist and it couldn't be, well, I beg to differ. So there is at least one flat Earth atheist. Okay? So, anyway, I want to tell you a little bit I just don't believe, guys, we was introduced to God long before the globe. It just don't make any sense why you want to ignore that point. Well, I want to tell you a little bit about my story that what kind of leads into, the flat Earth, side of it. I said when I was in second and third grade, I really thought I was in the Truman Show. I thought that like any moment a director was going to come, from a room or from outdoors or from a hidden place and say, cut, hey, Sid, you did a great job, blah, blah, blah. I really had that feeling. Second and third grade for sure. I had going in, like I said, it can be my little feeble mind, as a youngster, my mind playing tricks with me. It started to fade away, but I still have flashes of it, growing up through junior high and high school, and then I just saw, of course I thought it was just silly then. But when I saw the movie The Truman Show, it really freaked me out because I really thought that I was in a Truman Show for one point in time. I really thought that people was looking at me. It's crazy. Also growing up, as a youngster, I didn't really have, I call it special powers, we call it talents. But I know that I didn't have any talents, but I started to figure out one thing. I love the stories of the Bible, and I love talking about it, and you give me like a story that people couldn't figure out, or, people wanted more informational. I love to take those stories and like dig into them and come up with my own conclusion about it, which in turn, kind of ironically, would get me in trouble with the church, but people who were my same age and older, they liked it. It was kind of weird. It was the weirdest thing. I had these little tidbits, different points of view about the Bible, and not the little people, but if I talked to Susan or John or Jack, they loved it. But once it get back to the pastor didn't like that too much. But I had these little different tidbits that atheists, because the atheists know the Bible just as well as I do. I make no, beef about that. It's funny when I see, Christians say, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a little quote," to an atheist. It's like, man, they know that quote in the Bible better than you do because they actually read it. They read it from themselves. They don't have somebody else reading it and telling them what to do. When I used to talk to atheists, I never carried the Bible. I always freelance everything, and you get more respect that way. But anyway, so it got me kind of away from church and got me closer to atheists. I remember when in my 20s, I would one of the things when I was young, this was when I was younger than my 20s. One of the things that I said in the Bible that was, kind of controversial was I said that Elijah was John the Baptist, and it created such a stir. But Jesus account for it twice, and then when they ask him about it, they say, well, I'm paraphrasing, I thought Elijah must come before you. He says, I did. And I'll tell you, we treated him badly. Well, who did they treat badly? But John the Baptist. And on certain, in another term, Jesus says, well, if you believe it, it is so. So on certain, if you go through and go all through the stuff that Jesus talked to about John the Baptist, you will quickly to see that Elijah was John the Baptist. It's no room for any other interpretation. It ain't me that I'm so smart. Jesus is saying it. And when Jesus and God is saying it, you don't need a witness. But there's several different witnesses in this testimony. If you look it up, it's clear that Jesus is saying that John the Baptist was Elijah. They both roared, was a lion, roared to the jungle. They both dressed alike. They both ate the same stuff. It's clear to me, and it makes sense to parallel that Elijah didn't die, and he came before Jesus. The whole symbolic stuff is just crazy. So, but anyway, if people get into it, you can kind of see that kind of stuff. And like in my 20s, I was talking about the tribulations and giants and genetics and stuff like that. Why do you think Mary had to be a virgin? It is so important that Christians understand, or that Mary, or people who read the Bible and really get into it, understand that Mary had to be a virgin. If you understand Genesis 6, Mary had to be a virgin. It's no question about it. If she wasn't, no one would believe in Jesus. If you understood Genesis 6. So like I said, I was talking about that kind of stuff, way back then, that Judas, one of my stuff, I still think Judas is the best disciple. If you really break down Judas and that whole story, it's small words, so you got to really pay attention to it. But Judas is the best disciple, and I think that's going to come soon, because this other stuff that I said was going to, said back 20 years ago, 25 years ago, people are now saying, and I really appreciate Rob Skiba. If you are a Christian, avoid everyone else and go to Rob Skiba. He's talking about the stuff I was talking about in my 20s, but hey, that's great, that he's talking about that stuff now, because he is reading the Bible for himself. That's how you read the Bible. You read the Bible by yourself. It's confusing, but the more you put things together, it becomes really, really, really clear. But those kind of things like I said, got me in trouble with pastors, and I was happy. I was really honored to be befriend a pastor, and he had several churches that he went to and was in charge of, but the weird side of that was the $20 handshake. I did not like that. I found very quickly that you can write some stuff to get people jumping up and down, and people will give you their money. I know pastors, the reason why they can ride around in these high-end cars is because of the $20 handshake. Especially if you're a floating pastor, the money is tax-free. You just tell the people what they hear, get them dancing around, get them shouting, you do a little bugging, especially if you can sing. Shoot, man, you can make a lot of money at being a pastor. But I saw that stuff, and I ran so fast until I couldn't run no more. I saw how Atheist gave me the Google eyes. Like, give me some more of that. The Christians did the same thing, but I knew just by seeing what other pastors do, you can work that so well, and I didn't want to work that like that. I just wanted to talk about God. I didn't want people to give me money, anyway. But that kind of led me away from the church. I didn't want to associate with the church, because everything is about the pastor this and the pastor that. But what it did do was led me to talk to more atheists, with my different stories, and they was very, because they know the stories of the Bible, and I had different stories, like the ones that I mentioned. I got several others uh, that atheists tend to like, so I would talk to them. I ain't gonna say that I change every atheist, but I got them to definitely lower their guards against God, um, and one of the things that I did was, I would attack people like uh, Abraham, who gave his wife away. He has the God on his side, but he gives his wife away. David kills a man for his wife. Moses was so pathetic. God was going to kill Moses. I mean, because he was so weak, really, when it came down to it. He whined all the time, and he was basically a weak man. I mean, Moses, of course, I'm not God, but Aaron should have been the one. But, God chooses these people for whatever reason, quote unquote. But, yeah, God was going to kill Moses, if it wasn't, because it's hard to do with the circumcision and stuff like that, that he didn't want to do. He didn't want, his wife must have convinced him not to do it. And she ended up saving Moses' life because God was going to say, hey, I'm going to kill this guy. And she ended up circumcising the kid for herself and threw the circumcision at Moses' feet to let God know, okay, he's going to honor you now. So anyway, just pointing out the different pitfalls of these guys, that these guys weren't perfect, and we're not perfect, and that's the thing about the Bible, really. It's about imperfect people, but they still have faith, not about everybody's going to hell, boom, 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 everybody's going to hell, Anyway, like I said, I had a different opinion about God at the time. But what kind of got me away from that was I started hearing more and more people killing and saying God was telling them to do it. And I had some enlightenment. I said, wait a minute. God is telling me to talk to these atheists. What if God tells me to kill these atheists? I mean, is that God telling me that? Or is it me? And so I came to realize it was me who was talking to the atheists. It was me who had the talent that was doing it. It was me who wanted to do it. It wasn't God, Because if it was God, all these people who are killing people saying God was doing it, well, is that God telling them, or is it that guy? Exactly. So that's that's how I started kind of seeing things, that it was my own ego. God doesn't, if there was a God, God wouldn't need me to do shit. But sit down and trying to figure out exactly what he wants me to do. What he wants me, not what he wants me to tell everybody else to do, but what he wants me to do. And if I try to perfect that, I have no room to tell anybody else. If everybody worked on themselves who believes in God, you have no room to even tell anybody else what to do. And if we did that, God would be perfect. Because I know I need all kinds of help. I have no room to talk about anybody else. And I quickly realized that once I start opening my mouth to criticize someone. It's like, dude, Sid, you have no room to talk. Shut up. But anyway, so if there was aliens that create creators, because we all believe in aliens that has something to do with us, and so if we did believe in that, the way I kind of see the creator is a lost suitcase in an airport. Let's just say somebody lost a suitcase in the airport, and someone finds it, and there's a tag on there, and the person tries to find the person who found the suitcase tries to find the person who lost it. They put it in the news, they put it in the newspaper, they do everything to try to find this person. They pass on instructions to their descendant and siblings and people. Hey, you got to find the siblings and dependence of these people who had the suitcase. We got to find the rightful owners of the suitcase. And this goes on for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. At what point does that $1 million belong to you? And that's how I feel about the creators. The creators gave us this $1 million to earth and said, here, it's yours. You don't have to find me. If we wanted to be found, we would have been found. We would have let you know. Evidently, if you look around, we don't want to be found. Hell, if they wanted us to believe in the creators, all the thing they have to do is something weird that we know that anybody else can't do, and hell, but they didn't. So it's obviously, if it is a creator, they don't want us to know. As a flat earther, I've been lied to so much about all this kind of stuff. My creator at this point, unless otherwise proved wrong, is the sun, the moon, the stars, the air, and the earth. Those are my creators. Do I believe I come from monkeys? No, I don't believe I came from monkeys. I believe I came from human genetics that was produced by, if that sun, moon, and stars are closer than we think, maybe that's where I came from. I don't know. I'd rather go with that. I'd rather go to the most obvious and consistent thing than go with a lie that we've been told all our lives. So I'm just taking it down to the simple point. I have nothing against anybody who believes in God. But I've been lied to about the flat earth. The people who believe in God has no defense. I mean, where's the Pope defending this? Where's the high leaders defending this? If they're not saying nothing, then I don't trust them. So I'm saying, forget the idea of God. It must not be, because the high-end people are not even phased. They're not even defending it. Yeah, you got some small people like Skibo. He's defending it. But where's your Joe's knucklehead and your Pat asshole? I mean, what they doing? Nothing. Okay, that's what I thought. So my creator is the sun, moon, the stars, the air above us is my God, until there is something else to prove me wrong. I kind of see, if it is let's just say it is a creator. They kind of look at us as an int form will look at us. I mean, they can't speak our language. They don't know what's going on with us, It's just like, look at that int form. You see that damn fat-ass queen, the 1%er. I mean, that damn thing don't even walk. Other ants regurgitate food in its mouth. It doesn't even chew its own food. Those 1%er, that 1%er. Well, and well, shit, as fat as that motherfucker get, it's really a 3%er. It's obese. Ants are pure protein. Have you seen a queen ant? I mean, damn. I mean, it's a Miss Piglet. It's fat. It is a fat cat. Can you see the picture? And so when they look down, they see this one fat cat, and they see these ants over here making these ants doing what they want to make. And they see these ants down here, and they see these ants over here. They don't, from our point of view, we think everything is okay. But from their point of view, these ants are poking them and prying them and spitting on them and doing all kinds of shit to make them do what they want them to do, from their point of view. From our point of view, everything is rosy. Oh, look at that cute little queen ant. It's so fatty. I mean, but from their point of view, they're probably miserable. And that's how I see, that's how the creators look. Because in our point of view, if you're not a flat earther, we see war and all that kind of stuff going on, chaos and all this kind of stuff, and all kinds of bad stuff going on from a non-flat earther's point of view. But as a real flat earth point of view, we know there ain't no major wars and shit like that. They may do a little scrimmage here and there to say that they're doing something, but we know there ain't nothing major really going on. Everything is controlled. So from the creator's point of view, just like from our point of view, even though from our point of view, we're being controlled like a motherfucker. But from their point of view, you got 6 or 7 people controlling everything, but hell, everybody looks okay. It's no big uprise. Nobody's doing anything, so it must be cool. Hey, I'm gone. But they say if you're looking at that inform and that bottom half start taking over that top half, you go, oh shit, what's going on here? Hell yeah. Same with them. If they see that bottom half start trying to take over that top half, they might be interested. But right now they just think, oh, everything is good. If there is that way. I believe in different possibilities. I'm not an atheist. It's, it's just this way and there's no goddamn other way. Goddamn, give me my beer and goddamn wife, kick my goddamn dinner. I'm not like that. I'm ever changing, But this flat earth to me proved that it's no God, in my opinion. And so we got to understand that if aliens created us, like I said, whether they believe in God or atheists, if aliens had something to do with us, they're gonna make us. Let's just say you wanted a person's assistant and you can build a robot. Well, you're gonna build that robot to do as much as possible. You're gonna build that robot to be able to adapt to everything. Use you as a sounding board. Hey Sid, should I go pick up the kids or make dinner? Oh, well, you know what? I'll make dinner real slow, and then I go pick up the kids. When I get back, I can turn it up. Use me as a sounding board, a prayer, but ultimately the robot makes the decision. And just like us, we use God as a sounding board, a prayer, but ultimately we make the decision. And I just think that's what they would have did with us. They would have made us, when we have to rely on them every 5 minutes, they would make them like they made us. Where we are self-reliant. We don't have to call on them for everything. We'll figure it out. We're adjusting. That's how a real creator would create. Let me make something that has to pray to me every 5 minutes for something. Guys, for people who say that you got to pray to God imagine you got to thank God for everything. Imagine your kids thanking you for everything. Mama, Daddy, thank you for letting me breathe. Thank you for letting me breathe today. Hey, Mama, thank you for the breakfast. Hey, Mama, Daddy, hey, thank you for this. Thank you for giving me the. How many thanks? Crying on you. They pick 2 days a week that they just cry to you for 2 hours. Mama, thank you, Mama. Mama, thank you, Daddy. For 2 hours they did that to you. And you're sitting on the couch hearing this. How long will they get tired? That they thank you every time for everything. And for 2 days a week, they cry uncontrollably at thanking you. Thank you! How long would it take for your kids to do that before you say, hey, chill out? I know that you're thankful, but you don't have to do all this. Daddy or Mommy just happy to give it to you. You don't have to thank me and cry all the time. Well, how do you think God feels? Gee whiz. Cut out the drama. But so anyway, when I became a flat earther, everybody says they remember the exact time and date, and I don't. I don't remember the exact time and date. That's not even important to me. All I remember, I was watching a video, and a guy said NASA was lying about Planet X, and some guy said NASA was lying, and I looked at some, why was NASA lying, and the moon landings came up, and which I thought that they faked the moon landing at first and then went back later. And so when I found out that they faked it and they didn't went back later, that didn't really surprise me. I mean, I was cool with that. But when then I saw, oh yeah, they faked it. But then I started people started getting into the flat Earth and stuff like that. I think some of the first videos I looked at was definitely Jaren. It was some people before. I think it was like Stars and Stripes or something like that. Mark Sargent, but he had pretty much like talk show things, and I went into that at that time. But so I think I seen like a Jaren video, and there was a couple other videos out there. I just can't remember their names. I think the first name that I remember was Jaren. Jaren talked about Eric, and so I just kind of stayed on those two. I got into Crow 777. 37's Crow 777. And now I added to that, and I met this guy in person, Flat Earth Asshole. He's a very energetic person, very energetic. The energy that you see from him is very, very real, and I was very, very pleased to meet him. But yeah, so I got started by watching, Eric, a little bit of Mark, Jaren, and at the beginning, I think I was watching a little bit of Rob Skibo. It seemed like Rob Skibo and Jaren was doing some videos together, if I remember that correctly. But anyway, so that's how I kind of got into it. People say it took them months or something. It took me just that. I remember sitting at my desk, and I watched videos. I got off at 6, and I watched videos till about 8 or so, 8:30 maybe. And by the end of the time, I was convinced, because I was in the military, and I seen different things and stuff like that. So I was convinced. I was pretty much convinced. I mean, it didn't really take too much to convince me. I got to admit that. And by the way, guys, if Jaren, Eric, Crow 777, Rob Skibo, I don't really hear too much about Flat Earth Asshole, about that. If they're shills, then let's just pack up everything and go home. I mean, if those guys are shills, those are some of the best guys we got. And if we're saying that they're shills, and I don't see a lot of people defending these people, then let's just fucking pack it up and go the fuck home. I mean, I don't understand. Why are we doing this? If everybody that's talking who's a flat earther and they different from you is a shield, well, hell, why are we doing this? The key is if we believe that it's flat. Anything else, it's a byproduct of it. I mean, it's okay to be different from somebody else. I don't understand this thing where we have to be exactly alike or whatever, or it's doomsday. It's okay to be different, guys. I mean, a real shield, let me give you an example of what a real shield, because I guess nobody knows what a damn shield is. An example of a shield would be you at a high school. It has about 5,000 people. That shield will probably be the baker. She sees people at least 2 to 3. She sees everybody at least 2 to 3 times a day. She can stand back and take notes and get all the information you want. You won't even know that she even around. She won't even be important to you. You won't even know that for the 4 years you went to that high school, some of y'all 5, that she was even there. It won't be the janitor that you see every time that helps you out with your locker or helps you with this, or you see, no, it'll be that baker. So that's kind of example what a shield would be. Is Jaren, Rob, Crow, and Eric are shields? They are horrible at being shields. Horrible. Matter of fact, guys, if y'all are shields, y'all need to find new jobs. That is for damn sure. Anyway, so I want to talk about the globalists. And my best friend is a globalist, and we talk all the time, and we sharpen each other. I got a friend that's at work that's a globalist, that we sharpen each other all the time. And I really think that's what we need to do, is befriend people who don't see our same points of view. Because you sharpen each other, you get to see each other points of view, and it's fun talking to those guys. I think I'm winning them over a little bit. But if you want to win somebody over, it's not beating them in the brow, it's showing them the information and letting them know that even though you don't agree with them, let them know that you are taking in their information and you're processing them too. If you want somebody to take in your information and truly process it, well, hell, you got to do the same thing. I mean, come on, it's a two-way street. And also, guys, you got to understand that these guys, some of these guys got master's degrees and stuff like that. And let me give you a point how this can be really overwhelming to some people. You got your mom and dad take a second mortgage at your house. You took out student loans. You're in debt anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000. And some flat earther come and say, hey, your debt that you got ain't shit. Best of luck paying it, motherfucker. I mean, yeah, I might, if I was in $50,000 to $100,000 debt and you told me that shit, I might fucking try to kick your ass too. I mean, this is some serious shit that we're putting on these people. I mean, the psychologists get it. They tell you that we go into these different states. And right now, they are bouncing around between denial and anger. And I think some of them go into depression. But I think it loops right back over to denial and anger. They might link over to depression. They sure as hell ain't bargaining anything. And they sure as hell ain't accepting it. And so they just caught into they believe you. Number one, they believe you, guys. No one would argue with you if they didn't believe you. Let me give you a good example. If I told you if I say, hey, come here. 3 plus 3 is 7. 3 plus 3 is 7. And you walk over, 3 plus 3 is 7. What the hell are you talking about? And I do all this fancy little math, blah, blah, blah. And you're looking at it, and I'm trying to explain to you, and you're going, but it's 6. And I say, oh, no, but no. And afterwards, you're like, it's 6. And you walk away, and you don't care about me anymore. You might see me pass and go, that idiot thinks 3 plus 3 is 6 or 7. But you're never going to give me any real thought. But if I convinced you that 3 plus 3 is 7, you're going to come back and go, hey, show me that again. Hey. And that's what we do. We believe it, but we suppress the information. It's all psychologist shit that they know that they got on us. They know we can't loop out of it. It's hard to loop out of it. But you'll go back to that guy because it's convincing to you. And you really convinced deep down inside, just like these globalists that argue with you. They are 100% convinced, or else they wouldn't argue with you. Just like you wouldn't argue with that guy who says 3 plus 3 is 7. You wouldn't spend no time arguing with him. Especially after a day, you may argue with him for about a minute or something, but you gone. You want to spend day after day after day after day after day after day arguing with a person who thinks 3 plus 3 is 7 when it's 6? No. But if they believe you, they're going to argue with you because they believe you. They're just trying to get you to it's a sick game where they're trying to get you to convince them more. But what you really need to do is just step back from them and let them process it. Don't argue with them. Don't even take their information. They have to process it because as long as they arguing with you, they're going to get stuck in that loop. And I think that's the reason why they argue, because they get stuck in that loop. And if they actually stepped away from it, they'll be able to process that stuff out. And a lot of them don't want to because it's just it's overwhelming. It's like saying that you're 38 years old and you worked on this house all your life. For 38 years, you worked on a house. Then I came along and go, hey, sir, this is the best house I've ever seen in my damn life. Well, what'd you do? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'm sorry, but you gotta have to take up this and that over there. Hey, that ain't up to code anymore. And this right there gotta go. I'm sorry. You're gonna be like, what? Hey, fuck you. Hell no. Man, you tripping. So that's what happens. I mean, you're taking what a person rooted down for all that time and tell them they got to snatch it up and redo it. No, our brain don't work like that, and they know it. So to no fault of their own that people believe in, the globe. That's no fault. They spend billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars on us believing in globe. How much money did we spend on them not believing in the globe? Well, we make videos. We try our best. I'm not trying to say we're not, no disrespect. I'm not trying to say we're not trying to do our part with what we can do. No disrespect to anybody. But what I'm trying to say is they spend billions and 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 billions on dollars to get them to believe what they want them to believe. They control that idiot box. We don't. We do our best. But who do you think got the upper hand? Exactly. So you got to understand, they got to, no matter how we try, we're not spending billions and 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 billions of dollars and control the idiot box too. We don't have that power. So don't get so frustrated about why they not understanding that. You got to understand it's billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars difference. And no disrespect to us, no disrespect to us. And it's not really funny, but it's just reality. They just spend a lot more money than we do. As simple as that. It's nothing that we doing wrong. I think sometimes we beat ourselves up, but it's nothing we doing wrong. You got a multi-billion dollar industry fighting against you, brother and sisters. So don't kick yourself in the rear end too hard, okay? Let's see what else I was going to try to get here. I talked about that. All right, here's another great thing that I want y'all to understand. Just like they want them to believe in the globe, they want us to believe flat earthers. Where the hell you think we got that map from? They control everything. They control our history. They take away books. They add books. Dude, if you think that for 1 second that they didn't introduce this flat earth for a reason, I don't know what that reason is. I'm still trying to find that reason out. I have my, of course I have my reasons of what I think. But they gave us this flat earth thing, guys. You have to see this. You have to see they put this flat earth stuff in our laps for a reason. I mean, one thing that I know about flat earthers, and ask your brothers and sisters and your friends who know you, they're gonna tell you, yeah, your ass is really highly suspicious of the government. You have always went against authority. You always question shit. They're gonna tell you this. That's what flat earthers have in common. We have strong will against suppression in authority. That's just something we have. All flat earthers got that in common. And so, you don't think they know this? They could have said the damn thing was triangular. And I guarantee you, we would have got information somewhere to prove that it was triangular. That's just my point of view. Because we highly suspicious of the government. They know. That's why they gave us this shit. Because they knew we was going to run with it. So, anyway, just for thought, just remember, they control everything. If you don't think you're such a smart-ass motherfucker that you ain't being controlled, that's all I'm saying. They controlling you is what we do with the information that counts. Now, I see a lot of y'all, boy, y'all beating y'all chest, y'all yelling at people and screaming at people like y'all some damn, like y'all Tesla or some damn body. Y'all just flying out the flat earth about 6 months ago. Or that day. And y'all screaming and yelling at people and telling them they ain't worth this and they ain't worth that because they don't know this and that. I mean, God, y'all need to put on your brakes a little bit. I mean, where were you 20, 30 years telling us about that? 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Since you're so smart. I mean, that part right there, that's why I can't really stand and watch a lot of videos, because some of y'all guys are so damn smart. But when the hell were you?